Good evening, everyone. How are you doing tonight? It's great to have you here. And I think most of you know, so the last Thursday of the month, we take our time to do something a little bit different. It's not just a regular talk. It's we call meditation and spiritism. It's a series, and the idea is for us to take some time out. We have like the program consists in a quick talk just for us to address the central theme. We're talking about surviving crisis. We're actually in many countries. This is a awareness we call the September Yellow September. It's awareness for mental health and suicide prevention, and there is a growing, not just awareness like campaigns, and at the end of the day, we all need to be emotionally healthy, and everything has to do with our spiritual health. So we combine them together here. We have our friend from Tampa, Cristiane. She comes and she gives always a meditation. Natasha is joining our group, and she's going to talk a little bit about mental health, just to what she does, and I guess the focal point is just the importance for us to to be balanced, and how this has been a growing concern, and but there is hope, right? So that's what her her talk's going to be about, and we're very happy to have her here. It was just Chris and I, and then we're bringing Natasha. We studied for about 5 years together, sort of like a gospel therapy. It was like a study of the gospel, and I think we learned a lot. Good baseline, like a gospel therapy. There is so much we can get from the gospel. It's just before we open, let's do just a quick prayer. We can again put the lower the music. I had my glass here, and I was here. Let's just calm our minds right now. Just be very present. Let's relax on our chairs. Just make ourselves feel very comfortable in a way that we're here for us. Let's make this time we're here in the Spiritist Center, the time that we're here joined together with one hope and one objective, just to feel more in contact with the universe, be in peace within ourselves, create more harmony, more serenity inside of ourselves. But it is with the spirit of gratitude. We are grateful for the Master of life. We're grateful for a loving Father who makes us perfect, imperfectible. We're perfect in the sense of being born pure, but we're simple and lacking knowledge. And that's the perfectible part in which we take place right now. And we thank you, God, for all of those experiences we have had in our journey. Help us have a very nice meditative evening. Let this message sink within our souls. It is in spirit that we say, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. With that, before I call Natasha, I think we selected a question from the Spiritist book here. I think it was, I need to put my glasses for that. Can people enjoy complete happiness while on earth? So That's the question, and that's the answer given by the superior spirits, that we know. That's a shocking answer. Let's just stop in the no. Don't read the rest yet. So the question is, can people enjoy complete happiness while on earth? This is difficult for anybody who doesn't believe on the life that continues, the divine life, the eternal life. If you are centered your whole existence living this only one life, you're gonna go crazy trying to go after happiness, trying to make everything so aligned to find the happiness. But the answer is it's no. Because we're talking about complete happiness, you need some degree of perfection, you need some degree of balance, you need to be in a level that it's consistent with happiness. So that comes the rest of the answer. So no, not complete happiness. Because life has given to them, us, as either a trial or an expiation. Expiation means repair, correct, redo, make better, make amends. So expiation, it's like there's so many lifetimes that we are living in such a way that all of that journey brought us where we are right now. So we right now we're a combination of many experiences that we have collected, and we have improved a whole lot. But we're not there yet. We're not there to the point of achieving the complete happiness. But let's be hopeful, right? Let's be optimists. It is up to them, to us, to mitigate, meaning to balance their misfortunes and be as happy as possible while on earth. So the answer come back to us. It is up to us. We are the owners. We are the ones responsible for our own happiness. So we build our misery or we build our happiness. It is simple as that. With that in mind, I call now Natasha. You thought I was gonna do all the talk, right? I was like, yeah, keep going. Because we bring like a message, and then we can work with that, and then we come back later to do a meditation. Thank you.
Hi everyone, nice to meet you guys. So I work as a mental health counselor. I work here in Florida and mostly in New York, where I moved recently. We are celebrating the life of those that survived a suicide attempt. And we're celebrating the courage of those who have come forward to discuss and bring their fear and their hopelessness and their difficulty making sense of life in the counseling setting. My work is like therapy, pretty much therapy, right? Called psychotherapy, therapist. People come to talk about what they're struggling with, and we create. I'm sorry, guys. I feel nervous. It's been so long, such a long time I haven't spoken like in public like this. I'm always like I have one person, never had a bunch of people to talk to, so I apologize. But basically, we define what's the problem, what brings you in, and then we develop a treatment plan with goals that we all establish together. And there's so many different modalities for counseling. There's a lot of different professionals, and what I bring in is very particular to me. There's some bottom line where we're all the same, like we all want to instill hope, we all want to achieve the goals of our clients, we all want to promote health, mental health, and compassion, active compassion, and I'm very grateful for my job. I feel like I found my call in life. As it relates, if anybody has any questions about like finding a counselor or anything like that, I can help. There's several websites and you can go and find. And one thing that a lot of people don't know is the insurance companies also cover it. So you don't have to worry about having the funds there's a lot of professionals that take health insurance. But as we tie this three thing together, right? Like the fact that we're talking about crisis today. And that's actually part of counseling. We call it crisis counseling. And we counsel people when they are in crisis. And a lot of times when people start therapy, they're actually in crisis. Because it's not very common to people to come to therapy before they reach a crisis. So sometimes I ask, how long have you been, you haven't been sleeping? They say 2 years, and I'm like, wow, where were you? But it takes some time, like a really long time, and also because we don't know that mental health is health, right? I feel like it's a brand new thing. Ever since COVID, we realized like we went through a massive trauma as a whole world because we didn't have the opportunity to do the things that we thought that were just given to us. So I feel like one of the good things about COVID is that we had the opportunity now to understand what is mental health and how resilient we can be when we're together. And in the sense of when we look at spiritually, right? What is a crisis through a spiritual lens? Well, and I feel really happy because this is not something I can incorporate in my practice as much, and I'm happy that we're here, that we can talk about it. But because if we accept that we are an eternal spirit, I am an eternal spirit, and this is a life experience, then everything changes perspective, right? I'm no longer so involved and identify with my experiences. And this is something that we can do even just not even conceiving the idea of being eternal spirit. We can choose how we target our consciousness. And that's something that we do in the meditation. We practice the consciousness of not necessarily being identified with every thought we have. But with Spiritism, we have even something further. Because beyond the fact that I don't identify with the things that we go through in life for a moment, we don't need to necessarily identify them as a lifetime. Because this is one of our experiences, not the one. So Spiritism has given me the strength to look at the experiences I had in my life, which were very tied with mental health, because I experienced mental health my whole life, and that's what my whole family, and that's what gave me the desire to be good at it. And I feel like Spiritism just came in to explode it in a way when it comes to seeing yourselves as eternal. And life has been giving to us as either a trial or expiation. So we are not here to have fun. I don't know about you guys, but it hasn't been easy for me. And that's not even talking about entire lives. Sometimes in one day, sometimes 1 week, right? So if we sit down and talk about the things that I have a lot of things to complain. And all my clients have a lot of things to complain too. Because life is hard. There's a lot of difficult things. There's a hard boss. There's a hard parent. There's difficulty in your family, blended families, addiction. So many different things that brings people in for counseling that I see then as one of those trials that sometimes are so intense that put us in crisis. So when we look at it, imagine that we try to do that work without having the idea of being a spirit, and we can do it. Imagine with the idea of being a spirit. How we can identify, I'm an eternal spirit. I'm a student of life. And this is my lesson for today. What is life trying to teach me? What is God trying to teach me? He gives us a lot of humbleness and strength and resilience. And it's easier to mitigate. It's easier to just balance out the pain and understand, okay, I lost somebody I love. I've been abused my entire childhood. My best friend committed suicide. All those things that can happen in our lives, right? And with the idea of reincarnation, that becomes so much easier to experience it. So when the misfortunes, we make as happy as possible to be here on earth, I think that's what we can do with self-awareness, with becoming better. Because it's very difficult to be a spiritist outside of the Spiritist Center, right? You're here and like, yeah, that sounds so cool. Then you go home and you're like, what? Like, I'm so involved in my life. Like, I don't care about any of that, like, it's still hard. So I feel like the practice really is, and that's what I find in counseling, is, okay, it is happening. All right, I'm going to turn to spirit. Okay, how would I look at this if I remember that I'm going to turn to spirit? And you're like, oh my gosh, this hard boss is teaching me to be patient. This hard, my friend that committed suicide is teaching me that I let free the ones I love, that he's eternal just like me. And I have to accept. At least, that was my grief process, because this is a real story. But everyone has the right to create their own grief. Everyone has the right to create their own life and their own way to find happiness while on earth. And that's all I have to say.
And what's the role that faith plays on recovering?
Yeah, and funny enough, you don't need to be religious to have faith. And that's what I explore in my practice, because I don't add religion to my work, but I also ask, like, do you have any spirituality? Do you believe in anything that you cannot see, touch? And then we discussed the concept of faith. So we have faith in things. I have faith my boss is going to pay my salary. That's why I'm working. He said so she said so I'm going to do it. I believe in science. I love science. Me too, I love science. You don't have science if you don't believe in your instruments. You don't have science, you don't believe in what was researched before. And also, it's a very good, there's evidence up to this point. Tomorrow may have more evidences that may build, right? But never go against. So we're surrounded by faith all the time. So it's not something I feel like it's just something to become aware of. And that in counseling and in the study of Spiritism and in the development of any spirituality, we learn that without faith in ourselves, we wouldn't be able to be living. In ourselves, in one person, in our caregiver, and even when we didn't have anything. I have seen people that didn't have anything, had all the reasons to not believe in anyone, and they do. That's why I feel like we can all do it too.
Natasha, what would be some of the advice you give to any of your patients regarding, like, if fix on a negative thought or just that reoccurrence, just it's fixated there and it's kind of bringing you kind of down?
Yeah, that happens very often with all of us. We have obsessive thoughts. A lot of times people just have what they want to do is to like shut it off. I need to make it stop. And they come to me and they're like, how do I make it stop? Can you make it stop? And I say, I wish I could. But I always say, well, this thought is trying to tell you something. Let's listen. Don't be afraid. It's you. What is this thought trying to say? And then what we find out, and meditation plays a big role here, and the calming down, the helping, like being with another and holding and being like, okay, for 5 seconds it can be here, let's see. A lot of times it's a maladaptive core belief, or what we call it. So it's something that at some point served us, but no longer serves us. And sometimes, I'll tell you guys, another aspect that I feel like Spiritism really helps is that those core beliefs are not even from this lifetime. They're so strong. It's not uncommon to have people that think they're going to die young and that have it so strong, and that gives them panic or anxiety and so many other different things, or obsessive compulsive disorders where they have those thoughts over and over again. And sometimes we don't know how it's so strong and coming so strong, but I would say what I usually tell is like, let's practice being aware of it, being friends with it, right? Like understanding where is it coming from, loving it, thanking it, and letting it go. But that takes time. The more we fight with ourselves, the worse it gets. So the path is self-compassion. For me, it's always been. It's being the best friends of all my fears.
Feel free to ask
Anybody has any questions about counseling, about spiritism, about...
What is the number one, what's the word I'm looking for, crisis situations that people come to you?
Number one, it's very common anxiety and depression. So suicidal ideation is very common, and that sometimes becomes an obsessive thought that people experience, and that's what we call being a crisis or having an episode. Feeling very anxious, panic attacks. It's usually very strong emotions that make you paralyzed, and that's what we also call a mental illness because it's affecting your life, your ability to live a fully life, to go to work, to have friends, to have relationships. So usually are those like strong symptoms that, you know, you're in a party and you're hanging out and nobody knows that you're actually like having a panic attack in secret. And because of that secrecy, it makes it even harder. Because you feel like you're hiding something. And I want to live in a world that we don't need to do that anymore, you
How
know?
long does it take for the patient to go back to normal?
It depends from a lot of things. So there's a couple of pointers that I would say they're kind of common, but it depends on the person, right? But basically, how long have you been having them? Oh, 5 years, 10 years, my entire life since I was 8. Oh, just last year got worse, so that matters. How long have you had that? Any other, we call it like protective factors. How are your protective factors? How is your community? Do you have friends? Do you have any other protective factors around you? If you don't, we need to activate those protective factors. It can also help. If the person is very developed into the mental illness, for example, I can't leave my bed and I'm really depressed, then sometimes we have to talk about medication, and that's something that is sometimes like it's so far, the case is so advanced that it's very difficult for us to catch up as your brain is so depleted, you know. But the combination of it is perfect. So it's a case by case, but I would say the sooner the better. It's better prevention than but I've seen like 10 sessions being amazing. But you know, somebody that doesn't miss session, you know, that is like very on. So it depends on the person, depends on how much. And also like there's a few phases of treatment. So sometimes we're kind of ready, we're contemplating, we're pre-contemplating. It's like bad, but it's not that bad. Or it got good, so I don't need to go anymore. It's gonna take a break. So it depends on where the person is at too, you know, and that's okay. Wherever, you know, our clients are at, we meet them there. Yeah.
What happens to the spirit of somebody that commits suicide?
That's a very deep question. A very hard one.
I always wanted to know.
I hope I'm equipped to answer. I would try. I would try. There's a couple, like we can never know because we don't know that person specifically, no? So we don't know what they went through, how it was. But what I know is that we have a certain amount of vital fluid, right, that we have for our lives. And when we cut that off short, we have that extra. And then we kind of have to wait until we are all done. And sometimes I kill myself at 30 and I was going to die at 80. So I have 50 years of energy and, you know, I'm just going to have to wait around. And it's not really nice because you're not really where you're supposed to be. So it's painful. Yeah. That's why it's a very close question to me, because a person to think they want to commit suicide is because they're really, 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 really outside of their mind. And I understand. It's just being sick. What I tell people, when you have the flu, you sneeze, you cough. Some people have different symptoms than others, but there is some stuff that are just the same, right? Suicidal ideation, ideas of committing suicide, is a symptom of depression. That's it. That's it. And when you take care of it, it gets better. The problem is that sometimes you're going to deal with chronically, and that's okay too. Who said that this earth is like everybody normal? That doesn't exist, you know? So we're going to have to take care of it. And thinking about ourselves as spirits, that's even easier. But be like, oh my gosh, maybe, maybe this is the first time I'm taking care of this in like 3 or 4 lifetimes. Damn, I'm so proud of myself. But I do have a lot of work to do. So maybe I'm just gonna do all this life and
That's why we have so many lives.
yeah. But God is so good, that let's say I've been 10 years depressed. And let's say like you walk 10 years toward direction, or you walk the wrong direction. It would be fair to say, okay, walk another 10 to be where you were 10 years ago, right? And that's what people say. I want counseling to work right now. And I'm like, but you spent 3 years sad. Like it would be fair to like spend 3 years working on it, right? But God is so good that it's usually like 3 months, and you're good. And then I'm like, oh God, how can it be so amazing? So it's just good intention, just wanting, and then that's it. The rest, there's something called providence and benevolence. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it.
Thank you. Natasha is part of this group now, so that was her first time actually stepping in, but we're gonna go Chris next, and she's actually gonna do the meditation, so we spend the next gotta be done 5:10 before 8. So Chris is gonna do that. She comes all the way from Tampa just to be here with us, so we're gonna enjoy that. But in the subject of your question, what happens to the spirit, after you commit suicide? Like, we don't die. So the spirit continues on living. And like Jesus said, there are many houses, many homes in my Father's kingdom. So we are attuned. So we continue on living, and we go to places where we are attuned to. Right? So if we are in that mental state, we're going to go to places that it fits our condition, and because it's just nature, right? It's just part of nature. So in the invisible world, it's not so different from here. Here is a little more primitive. It's better. But if we're sick, don't be surprised that there are hospitals, mental institutions in the other side, and they're there to help us. The point is, God never leaves us by ourselves. We're never abandoned. We are always taken care of, but we have free will. If we want to be 10 years walking in the wrong direction, your guardian angel is going to be there. My son, you're going south, supposed to be north. But you say, I don't want to hear you. I don't care what you say. I want to go this way. It's my free will, and I'm going to go south. I know I have to go north, but right now I want to go south. Okay, that's good. That's what we call trials, right? We live within our own trials. And then there's the expiation, when we're going to need to, when it's time, oh my goodness. I've been driving to Miami. I should be going towards Ocala. You have to drive back. You got to repair that, and that's part of our journey. But without further ado, Chris, can you come and complete our program? I'm gonna just put in the part that we actually have. If I don't have here, go ahead. You take the mic. I'm gonna work on the background for you.
Can I ask you
Sure.
something?
Sure. We're here.
Where we can find some information about websites
Sorry. No, it's okay. We're gonna work. Website to find help.
What is it, Natasha?
Zen care.
Zen Care.
Or psychology.
Psychology Today.
Zen, like
Zen. Zen Care. It's so exciting to see our room so full of people. Yay! This is a very important theme. I was reading an article at the turn of the century. Sounds scary that we've been here during the turn of the century. And I read that the disease of the millennium would not be anything like cancer and all those things that we think that are so hard to deal with. The article said that the disease of the millennium, this one that we are living in right now, would be obesity and mental health. And isn't that what we see? Obesity mainly related to our lifestyles. We're so busy doing that we don't have time to be who we are, to move and do and eat aware of what we're eating. We are just shoving things down as we drive and do that meeting and do that phone call. So that's how obesity kind of happens. And the mental health, for the same reasons. We don't have time to be. We just go, do. But like Natasha said, and that's the sentence that sits with me, self-compassion. However we got here, that's where we are. No matter the journey, whatever took us here today, whatever the story behind each one of us, abuse, neglect, destructive thoughts, anything that came from lives prior to this one, or most likely from this one, whatever it is, it's ours. And we gotta befriend our story. Until we befriend our story and embrace that story, it's hard to move on. It's like that big white elephant in the room, and you're trying to pretend it's not there. Guess what? It's not going anywhere. You befriend the elephant, and maybe you can put it to sleep and take it outside and do something, whatever with it. But the first thing is to acknowledge and befriend, and self-compassion is the name of the game. Again, here I come with my strategies. If you leave here with nothing else, I want you to remember this one strategy that I'm going to share with you today. And I should have brought the book. I meant to bring it. The polyvagal nerve theory talks about the vagus nerve, who is responsible for the fight or flight response in us, has way more to offer than that. That's what we knew a long time ago, that it's you either fight the situation or run away from the situation. But when you study and you can Google that, you'll find tons of strategies on the polyvagal nerve theory. It talks about reset. The front part of the nerve teaches you how to reset your body, your emotional system, so you can go about your business of living. It's going to look a little funny. Pretend you are in bed. I'm going to show you this. You do this, and you are laying down, and your hands are behind your neck here. And this is how we're going to reset our emotional system. I'm going to question you all at the end of this, and you got to remember this. The only thing you need to remember is this. Before life starts, when you wake up in the morning, if you have that, I don't know what's going to happen to me today. The eyes just open, and that thing takes over you. Or in the middle of the day, for no reason, or for something very simple, that shallow breathing kicks in, and you don't know what to do. You might not want to do this in front of people because it might take you to the mental institution right away. But you can just visualize your elbows here, because the thing that I'm going to teach you is not about the elbows. The elbows it's a good visual cue to what we're going to do. To reset your emotional system, you want to hold your gaze to each side of the eyes, the corner of your eyes, without moving the head. So I am using my elbow so I can look at my elbow. So I'm going to be looking left. So I'm looking towards my elbow. It's not this. My head cannot move. It's just my eyes. So I don't even have to have my arms there. I can just use my head and just look that way. Pretend that I'm looking right here. And you hold this gaze over here, fixed here, until you yawn or something lets go. You feel like, when that happens, you do it to the other side. And then you're going to feel something just changes and softens in you. That resets your emotional system. You can do this 1,000,003 times a day because it's there, readily available to you. You are red light, you stop there and you're starting to feel that thing. Toop, toop. Keep going. A good mental hygiene is to do this before you get out of bed every morning. If you do this for 2 minutes, hold it, look at one side. When you feel the softness, look at the other side. And keep on switching within the softness for 2 minutes. You are setting yourself for a more balanced day. Everybody got that? Yes. Elbows up. No elbows, just visualize it's okay. And let's just do it together, okay? So you're going to look at one elbow, hold your gaze. Your nose doesn't move, just your eyes. Breathe normally until you feel the softness. Once you feel the softness, just gaze to the other side. You feel the softness, you let go. I'm done here because everybody's going to already be. So this is the Prozac, the whatever drug, clonazepam, whatever it is that they sell at the drugstore, that's yours. At your service, all day long, whenever you need. And if you're curious about the polyvagal nerve theory, there is tons out there for you to explore. It's amazing. I use that with my own patients. It helps everybody. So I've had to use that a lot myself. So I'm living proof that works. But the limbic system, which is the right inside here in the middle, that responds to your sensation, your feelings. Because my feelings depends on my perception. You feel a certain thing different than me based on your story. We have different stories. Then you say, why does that bother him so much? Well, because of his story. What happened to him, what is part of his reactive mode is very different than yours. So sometimes it's hard for us to empathize with people because we don't. When we say, get yourself into their shoes, it's hard to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. But we just have to remember, even though we look alike, maybe we have the same age, live in the same neighborhood, we have different stories. And it's okay to have different stories. We will all learn to use the strategies and calm our stories so we can face our story and befriend it. What happens when you have a tough story or a tough piece of your story that day? We tend to paralyze. There is something that makes mud around your feet and you just can't move. And it makes you breathe so shallow. And everything just, you know better. You know you need to take a step. You know you need to take action. But it's just so hard. We all have been there or are there right now. It is when that mud starts to hold your feet down and you feel like, I can't go anywhere. I know I need to, but then your brain can't do anything about it. Huh? Yes. So what we need to do is first reset our body. So what I just showed you is a good reset. Breathing, especially inhale for a number and exhale for a longer number. So inhale for 4 and exhale for 6. Every time you're letting go of the air is longer than you're inhaling, it's also very relaxing. So you smell the rose for 3 and you blow the candle for 6. That is relaxing. The number for in has to be smaller than the number for out, right? So that's the goal. Your number, you want your number to be 4 times longer for the exhale. Of course, it takes practice. So you start with 2 for 2, 2 for 3, 2 for 4, until you can build that longer exhale. That's the other strategy that you can use. Your mind plays games. When the brain is going places, pick a mantra that works for you. My mantra is the simplest one you can ever. Peace, 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 peace. I just say peace when those funny thoughts, ugly thoughts come to my mind. Peace, 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 peace. Because I would rather fill my brain with something that starts a little weird at first, but it's a word that has a good vibration. Peace is my word. Your word might be joy, love, strength, whatever word resonates with you, that's the word you go to. People might think you're crazy, but it's nicer to look at somebody saying peace, 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 than cursing around. So peace, peace, peace is a good way to go. Our meditation tonight is going to be about getting out of that stuck place, mud holding me down. What I want you guys to do, if you've been here before, you have permission to keep your eyes closed and just look at the video. Just look and be relaxed. But if you can close your eyes. If you cannot close your eyes, if closing your eyes is uncomfortable, just look down and keep your gaze low so that it's a little easier to focus. We're going to put the purses to the side, the water, the everything. Shake, shake, shake. Take a deep breath. I want to hear you all. One more. Now, we're going to close our eyes or gaze down and just meet me here at this very muddy place. My story brought me here. It's cold. I know I've been here before, and here I am again. Muddy, stuck, paralyzed. Ugh! How did I get here again? This is not fun. I don't want to be here. My breath is shallow. My mind is racing. My hands are shaking. And my feet are stuck. How did I get here? I find myself getting frustrated, but decide to look around anyways. Maybe somebody will see me and will offer some help. I lift my head a little bit and I focus my eyes in the distance, there is some light. I almost see a person. I can almost hear something. Maybe if I just focus a little more on what is out there, I can hear what that person is trying to tell me. I make peace with my situation. Yes, I am stuck. Yes, my breath is shallow. Yes, my mind is racing and my hands are shaking. But I do see some light. I do hear something. I just might give myself permission to be a little hopeful. Just the thought, hope, makes my breathing a little deeper. And I just breathe the word hope. 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 I find my chest expanding and my hands are a little calmer. I breathe even deeper. Hope. I find my shoulders softening. My forehead softens too. My breath is deeper. And maybe it is my imagination. But the mud feels somewhat a little looser around my feet. I keep on breathing. Hope. And I find my breath traveling a little bit towards my throat, my head, expanding my thoughts, untangling all those messy thoughts. I breathe hope. That expansion fills up my chest and travel through my arms, elbows, hands, all the way to my fingertips. A tingling sensation takes over, and my hands sit softly on my lap. My chest expands and I breathe hope. And I feel the expansion going down towards my belly, my hips, legs, knees, calves, even my ankles. And the mud seems a little softer. I can almost wiggle my toes. Deep breath. And now I get it. The deeper the breath, full of hope, the softer the mud around my feet. I take another deep breath, grateful for the sensation that covers my chest, my arms, my legs, and now my feet. The mud is so soft that I feel that I can pull my feet up. What a great sensation to be able to march, picking up one foot at a time in this muddy mess that no longer holds me down. I am going to play with this. A deep breath, full of hope that I can play and befriend the mud. I stomp my foot, plash. The other foot, plash. And I have a smile in my face. My childhood is back here, and I find myself stomping the mud. My feet are a big mess, but they are free to splash. The mud is all over me. Even my face is splashed with mud. That's okay. The mud is part of my story. I befriend the mud. But now I smile at it. With a deep breath and a heart full of hope, I walk in muddy waters towards the light, towards that whisper. I find myself getting closer and closer to that special person that always had my back, that was always there for me, rain or shine, even when things got really muddy. What a big smile. Those open arms just waiting for me. Hope. I keep on walking, and I can't help but to walk a little faster into those arms that now embrace me. I'm muddy, but light and hopeful. And the arms that embrace me take me as I am, with my story, with my struggles, and with my hope. We hold this embrace and we breathe together. All is well. All is exactly how it's supposed to be. I am exactly where I need to be. The lesson is here, and I am learning as I go. The warmth that involves us is hard to explain. We know we are covered from divine light, from head to toe. The love of God is upon us, showering us, healing us, and washing away the mud. There will always be some mud stains on me, because that's my story. But I know that with hope, I can keep on going, because love and hope is here to stay. We just stay here, breathing and remembering that we can always come back to this place whenever we choose.
You just keep your vibrations like this. Our brother team is going to invite everybody to the passes. Just keep it as it is. If you want to watch the video on the screen, it's okay too.